What's up, BEATNIKERS? Welcome back to my channel once again. If you're new here, consider subscribing because I feel that my goal is to bring you the most delicious thinking and enhance your intellect to escape velocity. Let's start today's day. I want to tell you right away that this video is not at all, I've not written any script. I'm just going to share my experience with you guys. So you might also need popcorn at this time. I don't know how long this video is going to be. But yeah, if you have enough time, please make sure that you watch this video till the last. I'm going to be sharing my experience about my public speaking fear, what I've had. I have had a social anxiety problem wherein I cannot speak to any random. Used to, all these things were there in the past. Things have changed now. I'm in Germany. I have much more control over all these things in my life now. And that's why you've seen me meeting with some of the top-notch people and I'm able to talk to them confidently. This person whom you see on the screen all the time I was never like this, okay? I was not at all this person whom you watched today. If you would have met me like 8 years back, I was completely a different person. So I'm here to talk about that itself. Let's start. Alright guys, so before I start, I know you're thinking right now that, oh, why am I sitting in the last 3 videos in the same spot? Of course, because I don't have a studio, alright, and I want to take full advantage of this beautiful day. It's a sunny day here. That's not obvious, okay? That's why I highlighted that it's sunny day, which is not a normal here. Yeah, I have a beautiful background, no one to disturb. So before I start this video, I want to set the whole premise of this video is why am I making this video? Why am I doing this video? What am I trying to achieve by doing this? The reason I'm doing this is because I want to walk you through my journey of how I was extra introvert and where I am today. I'm able to share my experiences with you guys. I often talk about education topics on this channel. I often talk about career. I often talk about following what you love doing it. There can be a hindrance on the way if you're not confident enough or if the nature of job is to involves a lot of speaking. For example, me doing social media marketing now, or marketing in general, where it requires you to speak. Now imagine a person who has been a ultra introvert all his life, all my school times or my college times or my university time or at my workplace when I worked. There were a lot of learnings which I would like to pass it on to you guys. I'm sure there are a lot of people like me in numbers, because tomorrow if you want to grow in your life and become a leader, you can't be in that cocoon, you can't be living in that shell. That's the reason I'm here to share my story with you guys. Now to explain you my journey of being an introvert to where I am today, I have to give you a little background about what kind of kid I was when I was growing up. So during my school days, I was really shy person. I was quiet. I was one of those guys who would never speak up and talk my emotions out even to my family members. I would keep everything private. I was very thoughtful though. There was a lot of things happening in my head but nothing to share with the world outside. I was also one of those guys who was more social and gregarious around people whom I know the most, and I would open up like anything. But the moment there's a third person, a friend's friend, they come in, I'm like super quiet, not speaking much, not involving myself into whole conversation or wherever we are going out. That's the kind of kid I was. If I have to talk about my education wise, I was not at all a good kid with grades. I was not at all studious. I was not at all one of those guys who would get good grades. And when you don't get good grades, you know what happens. That was a turn off for a lot of people, that if you're not a good looking guy, if you're not getting good grades, what are you good at? You're not talkative at all. I used to live in my own world. That was the fear which was building upon me, thinking from my childhood that what if I speak my mind out and how would the other person take it? I was also so fearful in my heart and my mind that if I speak something publicly or in my classroom, just to give you an example, I've also gone through that stages where all of us have actually gone through and felt that fear in my chest is, oh my god, like I have to read in front of class now, or I have to answer certain question. Especially if you guys remember that when teacher used to ask all of us in the class to read one by one, and the moment the number is getting closer and closer and I feel like, oh, my turn is about to come now, my heart used to pump out of my body. I used to feel like that. Fear of making mistakes, fear of, oh my god, I don't know, my own friend, how would he perceive now if I spell things wrongly? Nobody corrected that. There were teachers also in my school or in my school times nothing specific, they were real bully. Okay, they would pinpoint like how bad you are in front of everybody. When you have such experiences in your life, these things remain in you for longest of time. So from there on, I had to, after somehow I pushed this 12th grade and managed to pass that. Alright, managed. I'm using my words very carefully while I'm talking. That's why I said managed. I didn't score a really good score. Somehow I passed my 12th, went on with my next stage of my life, which was to do something in bachelor's. You know that social pressure, the peer pressure, what you get, like, oh, what are you gonna do next now? Somehow my dad chose hotel management from me. Of course, I had to do something in my life. I can't be sitting with the percentage what I've got. I can tell you without telling a percentage that I wouldn't have got in any engineering colleges, for sure. Even though I was from a science stream guy, but since I was not good at grades, so there was no chance for me to getting into engineering colleges. Went ahead and did hotel management. Now this is where the whole personality of mine changed completely. Leaving your parents where you have had a shelter for last 18 years, now you have to manage everything by yourself. So to do hotel management, that's why I went to Hyderabad. In Hyderabad, of course, I was socially so awkward and trying to get myself along with people. That's when I discovered something. There's something called fake it until you make it. I started faking my confidence in front of people. Now this is nothing to do with hurting someone or bitching about someone or lying someone or being two-faced. Nothing like that. I started making this wall right outside me saying that yeah, mingling with everyone, pushing the limit every time. But still I couldn't succeed. Just to throw an example, since we are talking about hotel management and my experience, there was a time where I chose not to give presentation because of public speaking fear, and I literally failed in that subject. Now officially I didn't fail it. So just like there's a Viva plus written exam, that was the exam. I distinctly remember it was a housekeeping presentation exam. I knew well in advance that I was supposed to give a presentation. Now it was not a group presentation because a lot of times I've made my way and skipped that line of giving presentation alone. So we always had a group work, right? I've always given group presentation, and this time in housekeeping I was supposed to give an individual presentation. It was a Viva, and in Viva, of course, it is supposed to be question and answer between teacher and you, right? But here, the whole concept was changed in a different way, which is that you will give a presentation and then she will question you from your own presentation. One option in this case would have been, before I actually say what happened, is I wouldn't have shown college. Like I wouldn't have gone there if I didn't had to give that. But the condition which was kept on that day was, if you don't come, you will be failed in your final exam also. That's why I had to go. Going there in the classroom, everybody's working on their laptop and everybody's like, okay, I have to give this point. Hey, some of them, like, 5 friends, they're trying to practice in one of the corners in the class. The whole anxiety level is building up in me, like, it's coming and attacking me. I could feel there's a pit in my stomach, like my stomach going inside, imagining like, oh my god, like after 10 minutes everything is about to start now. I was so much filled with anxiety. I have absolute no idea what's going to happen now. Presentation starts by roll number. Roll number 1, 2, 3, 4 went on. I was 43. I'm getting chills right now. Okay, thinking of that situation, I somehow went on the stage. Of course, she called like, roll number 43, please come on the stage. Now, I did make my presentation. You know what I did? Instead of going on stage, I went to the teacher and I said, I don't want to give presentation. I'm scared I can't talk publicly. I told her this very clearly. You know what she said? She said, of course, if you don't give it, you're going to fail in the exam. Do you want that? I said, yeah. I said yes. I didn't pass my Viva. No, it was not a mandatory for me to clear my Viva as well as my written exam. As long as you get like 40 marks in that particular subject, you will pass. You know what? My own roommates, I used to stay with 8 roommates in Hyderabad. My roommates were sitting in the same class, looking at me shocked. Like, how can someone do that? That was the level of fear I was living with all my life. Moving on from here, without making it too dramatic, there was a time when I was supposed to give campus interview. Now, if you guys remember, I explained every little detail of how I got my job from Oberoi Hotels. Before I got that job, I was still the same person, right? What was fearful about public speaking. Now, usual process of hiring someone in India, especially when you have a campus interview, is first is group discussion, then you have personal round, and etc. etc. How do you clear a round when you have so many people involved? There were a lot of campus interviews coming into our college, and I already gave, I think, around 13 of them, and I did not clear. Big companies came and I was out from the first round itself, which is group discussion round. So this was all about my background. Yeah, that's the kind of guy I was. When I started working for Oberoi Hotels, definitely I was still living with that fear of, there shouldn't be any event where I have to talk in front of people. Since I started growing in my career, and since I started realizing that what is this whole fear about, I went straight to the root cause of why does it happen? Why does someone has so much fear that as soon as I used to climb on stage, I have my sweaty palms, my social anxiety, my whole mouth is dry, I'm having butterflies in my stomach, my stomach is going inside, like I couldn't even hold the pen. That's how drained I used to be because of that fear. And I started realizing all these things when I was working with Oberoi Hotels, and I started educating myself. Now, if you want to grow in a company and when you have such fears in you, how are you going to grow? How are you going to be manager tomorrow, right? How are you going to lead your team? Forget about managers or leaders. How are you going to be supervisor least? That's when I realized that, wait, our brains are designed in a way that saves us from any threat. That threat could be in any form or shape. There's a chemical called cortisol which comes and wraps around, which is the stress chemical. And without making it too complicated, I've done a lot of studies about it, and at the end what I learned that it is all game of adrenaline. Our brain's job is to take care and make sure that I don't feel any sort of humiliation, especially when you talk about public speaking. Ultimately, what I realized is that there are certain points which I should immensely focus on that will help me to overcome. First things first, it will not happen while sitting in a room. Often I talk about networking here. Often I talk about you should go out and speak to people. I know that's not everyone's strength. I know that not everyone can do that. I understand that truly. That's why I'm pushing you to go ahead and make an attempt. You don't have to be perfect. Now, hotel industry taught me, your industry could be any area and you could choose any form to learn and to overcome this fear. Now that we have established this whole context of this topic, this is my solution and this is what I did to overcome this fear. First thing is knowledge. Educate yourself to a level that anybody who has a problem, first you're the person to speak about. That's what I started doing. I educated myself so much that I used to read a lot. I'm not a person who likes reading now, which I'm not so proud about though. But I was one of those guys who never stopped reading for at least 2 to 3 hours every single day. Having a knowledge always gives you power. Okay, power as in not to take over someone, but power as in confidence. Okay, to have confidence. That's why I keep saying I cannot say that, hey, just be confident. You have to give certain background to be a confident. Second thing, what I used to do is I've done this with some friends. They're watching me right now. I know you guys. I read this about on internet. That's where I got this idea from. Is I used to do 30-second challenge. Now this 30-second challenge is nothing but go to the crowded place and sleep for 30 seconds. Now I know it is not directly about your public speaking, but it is about the courage what you get, the courage of facing people. And I have done that in the most busiest streets of Hyderabad by going and sleeping for 30 seconds on the street, almost random weeks. Third thing what I did is every time you're going for a presentation, make sure that you're dressed nicely, because when you're dressed nicely it gives you confidence, and when you're confident, positivity comes automatically along. The thing is super important. Oftentimes we give presentations in school, colleges, universities, workplace, everywhere, right? Stop seeing your presentation as your performance. Okay, it's not about performance, it's about information. It's about what is the message you want to get it across. Yeah, just a side note, if you are going for a presentation, make sure that you drink a lot of water, throat doesn't get dry, taking a deep breath, not just from chest but from stomach, like. Alright guys, so like that's what. Okay, I don't know how long this video got, or I don't know how many people are gonna watch this video till the last. Yeah, I felt like I should speak my mind out, and that's what I did today. I think I would like to end this video here. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button. I would really appreciate that. Bye bye, see you next time.